Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SPL Shuckle Premier League. We are here with Week 8, going up against my boy Kyle A. The Miami Don fans, super excited for this matchup. This match is like I love just like it's so many years later in Draft League, and we're all still playing, right? We've all grown up. We all have kids. We're all still sitting here playing. In my opinion, the best formatting competitive Pokemon. So I'm jacked for this matchup. I love Kyle. Love the content he puts out. Go check out his channel. Subscribe if you are not subscribed to Kyle. Also, while you're here, subscribe to this channel. I would love to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of next year. Let's get a head start and go on ahead and hit on the road there. So appreciate you guys. We have a weird backup story. My background probably looks slightly ever so different from what you probably can't tell in post-production. Actually, never mind. Played a lot of my games in advance, well in advance, so I could like get ahead of the scheduling and whatnot. And the day before I was initially supposed to play Kyle, computer finally blue screened and was done. And for those of you guys who've been keeping up, you know there've been a lot of computer issues. So spent the last 4 days, swapping out every part to figure out what's going wrong. We finally have. It's back. We're back. We're like everything's good. Knock on wood. We're finally good. So. I apologize for the delay in the week 7 upload. Was something I'll be working on after this recording tonight to get that up for you for maybe a double header. Also, while we are in week 8 and we are in the end of the season, we may still be in some sort of a contention here for playoffs, oddly enough. So Shuckle King, one of the co-runners of this league, are talking about the, he's talking about he spitballed everything on like how people could get into the playoffs, right? So going into week 8, MV is guaranteed first seed. He's undefeated so far. Mephisto's doing crazy. Viz is doing great. Uzi's doing great. Things like that. Unfortunately, Kyle and Leo are both out of playoff contention. So that to me means there may be some more unlikely anticipated sets. Just because Kyle could be like, let's go out with some heat. Let's do what he did week 1 with like mixed offensive Rillaboom or something like that. So you do have to keep that in mind to that extent. I'll still play it like it is a full series matchup, but Kyle's known to bring some heat anyways. But for us, we have to win with more than a -2 differential. If Shuckle King also wins, then I'm in. If we lose, then Shuckle King has to lose with more than a -2 differential. And then there's a few other things. So pretty much to me, it sounds like if we win 3-0 or more, we're locked, like we're loaded. So I don't know. There's a lot of behind the scenes math and figuring out the seeds and the differentials and all that stuff. So there's still a chance, which I'm excited about. I'm excited about. We are currently 3-4 -1 overall, which for my first league back in, God, I was living in my apartment, so that would have been 2-3 years. Last draft league I did 2-3 years ago. First draft league in 2 to 3 years. I think we're doing pretty good. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. But enough blowing smoke at your faces. There's gonna be some text floating on screen somewhere in post production. If you guys want to go check out if you guys want to hop right to the battle, don't do that though. Help out my watch time. Go get a snack if you don't want to watch Teambuilder. Let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride. And just help those numbers, help the channel out. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, if you're new, subscribe, leave a like if you enjoy. You guys are going to start to see some teams appear on screen right about now. My opponent has a team that consists of Alolan Ninetales, Mew, Rillaboom, Hisuian Zoroark, Colossal, Paldean Tauros, Aqua something, the Water Bull, Revavroom, Gligar, Bellibolt, Beartic, Noctowl, and Roaring Moon. Some things to note about my opponent's team. Lots of potential with hazards. He's got 3 Spikers in Colossal, Gligar, and Mew, 3 Rockers in Colossal, Gligar, and Mew, and then 3 Toxic Spikers in Gligar, Mew, and Revavroom. Only form of removal is Rapid Spin on Colossal, which I could definitely see coming, as well as Defog on Noctowl. He's got some priorities, got some momentum that we got to worry about. So I'm having a hard time figuring out like the 4 that he would bring, the 6 that he would bring, excuse me. I've got an idea of about 5, and if we really want to put pen to paper, here's the 6 that I think he's going to bring. I think he's going to bring Rillaboom, because if I were to bring Electric Terrain, his Grassy Terrain will overset that, obviously. Grassy Glide is also really good against Iron Bundle, Donphan, things of that nature. I think Colossal shows up. I'm sorry, he's got some Terra Captains. Let me talk about that as well. 3 Terra Captains. First one being Colossal, Fire, Fairy, and Ghost Terra. Belly Bolt with Electric, Fairy, and Flying Terra. And then Bear Tick with Ice, Electric, and Fighting. So he's got a little bit of a Hail Core going on if you wanted to run, or Snow Core, excuse me. But I definitely think Colossal shows up. I don't think it brings Hail or Snow. I gotta correct myself since they changed that. I don't think it brings Snow because I could then have the potential to run Aurora Veil Bundle, which would just put the Snow in my court then. So I don't think he brings Snow. I don't think he brings Snow. I definitely think Colossal shows up. Colossal is really the only Pokemon that helps handle Ogerpon on his team. Other than that, Ogerpon claims one every time it comes in. So I think like a Fairy Colossal could show up just to help out. Like the Steam Engine is always good if we wanted to Terra Fairy in front of a Hydro Pump from Bundle or an Ivy Cudgel from Ogerpon. Definitely think Colossal shows up. Revavroom, I think, could show up. I think Revavroom could be pretty beneficial to him in that regard. I think Gligar comes as a defensive check for some of my Pokemon. I think the last 2 Pokemon that I have the hardest time switching into, in my opinion, is Hisuian Zoroark and Roaring Moon. So maybe if anything is an outlier there, maybe Revavroom for like Tauros for an Intimidate, maybe a Mew. You know, you can run Mew any sort of way, so maybe Mew gets ran a different way instead of Revavroom, but Hisuian Zoroark, I do not have a switch into both normal and Ghost Stab at the same time. It hurts so bad. And then Roaring Moon just hits like a truck, right? So those are the 5 to 6 that I think my opponent would bring. So let's go ahead and start talking about the 6 that we are bringing. So the first Pokemon that we are bringing is going to be Iron Grandpa, the Iron Bundle. He is rocking heavy duty boots with the Quark Drive ability. Rain Dance, Flip Turn, Hydro Pump, and Ice Beam. 4 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 252 in special defense, or excuse me, in 252 in speed with a modest nature. Now, what does this do for us? This allows, excuse me, no, he's got a rash nature. My apologies. He has a rash nature because I want the flip turns to do something more if they can. You know, base 80 attack is still base 80 attack at the end of the day. And our special defense is absolutely just garbage. So that's why we're running a rash nature this week. See how it works out. See how it doesn't. It's week 8. We've got playoff contention. We'll see what happens. So what is going on with this Pokemon? So with 252 in speed with a non-boosting nature, we actually outspeed everything on Kyle's team that is not Scarf. The fastest Pokemon that he has is Roaring Moon. Max speed hits 370. With 252 EVs in speed, not timid or speed boosting nature, we hit 371. So we outspeed the entirety of his team. I will always, always, always go with that as an option if I can run Modest on Iron Bundle. Flip Turn is good for pivoting. Dual Stab really goes unchecked. Like his switch in is... Let's see, Ice Beam hits Roaring Moon, Dual Stab hits Zoroark, Hydro Pump hits Ninetales, Dual Stab hits Mew. Like Tauros, Paldean, Aqua Breed, but even then, you know, that Pokemon does not have the best special defense stat. Hydro Pump has a chance to 2-hit KO, and if we do have the Rain Up, Hydro Pump is a 2-hit KO on there. So so we do hit that thing hard. It has no recovery, so we'd be able to chip down pretty quickly on that thing. But really, Dual Stab kind of shreds his team, which is nice. We do have a Rain Sweeper later on, which is why, you know, Iron Bundle really subject to the 4-move syndrome. We do have a Rain Sweeper towards the end of the game, and I'll talk about that a little bit, but that's why we have Rain Dance. Rain Dance also, if he switches into something like Tauros, so say Tauros could take 2 unrain boosted Hydro Pumps. Surprise, Shorty. We have Rain Dance boosted Hydro Pumps now, which is going to be great. So that's going to be Iron Grandpa, the Iron Bundle. Next Pokemon we are bringing is Loudman the Klefki. He's rocking Damp Rock with the Prankster ability. Rain Dance, Reflect, Spikes, and Draining Kiss. 252 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 4 in special attack with a bold nature. Again, Rain Sweeper. The 2 options here, so Klefki, very dedicated Rain Sweeper, has the Damp Rock, able to get up to 7 turns of rain as opposed to the 5, which is going to be great for a Sweeper. Another thing is that, like, Iron Bundle is so fast that I feel like a last-ditch effort Rain Dance in order to bring in our Sweeper could be beneficial to us if we haven't revealed that yet. But Klefki being able to set up 7 turns of rain could be good. Reflect, so I talked about that I don't really have switch-ins to Hisuian Zoroark if a spec set comes, but outside of that, Kyle's team hits very, very hard from a physical side. You know, he's got Rillaboom with 125 defense, attack, excuse me. Tauros 110, Revavroom 119, Beartick and Roaring Moon both above 130. So I brought Reflect over Light Screen for that reason. I could have run dual screens, but I did want to slot on a second Rain Dance user. We do have Spikes. I think Spikes are going to be very important for this. He does have minimal removal, and I think if he does bring Hisuian Zoroark, keeping track of the hazard damage that they have taken and keeping in mind what has boots. So if all of a sudden something comes in that had boots and it takes damage, we know that that's Zoroark. It can play around it. I think that'll be beneficial. And then Draining Kiss is nice recovery. It really does not go, you know, it gets a fair amount of recovery off from almost everything on his team. Depending on Colossal's Terra typing, it can resist that. Rev of Room, it resists that. And it is good for Roaring Moon in case it does get a little bit out of control. If we get a Reflect up, we take a hit, go for a Draining Kiss, and go from there. So really defensive, helps us take a little bit more defensive hits and then able to get the Reflect up to support the team, which I'm very excited for. Next Pokemon we're bringing is the Bonk, Ogerpon Hearthflame. She's rocking her Hearthflame mask with the Mold Breaker ability. We have Ivy Cudgel, Power Whip, Knockoff, and U-Turn, Max Attack, 4 in Special Defense, Max Speed with a Jolly Nature. With this set, we are speed tying Hisuian Zoroark, unfortunately. We have to come down to a speed tie, assuming it's not Scarfed. And then we outspeed everything else aside from Roaring Moon, which is fantastic. Outside of the rain, Ivy Cudgel goes hard. I mean, really, Ogerpon just claims one. Ivy Cudgel against the Alolan Ninetales, Knockoff against the Mew, Ivy Cudgel against the Rillaboom, Knockoff against the Hisuian Zoroark. Colossal, we got to play around. Power Whip, still, it doesn't really want to take one of those on switch-in, so even if we brought in Colossal physically defensive, Power Whip still does a chunk. I mean, if we have a Spike up, that's doing, plus the Spike, that's doing half, so it's looking pretty nice for us from there. We can always go for a knockoff on it afterwards. And then if it doesn't resist the fire typing, it could be like, if he doesn't want to be like cheeky and run Steam Engine, he could run Flash Fire if he wanted to. But like either Steam Engine or Flash Fire could show up for that regard. So Knockoff being able to remove its item will be nice. And then U-Turn for pivoting, if we start to get kind of into a rotation of understanding what's switching in and what's switching out, we can always get that momentum off there alongside our Iron Bundle. The next Pokemon, so I talked about I don't really have a good switch into Ghost and Normal type, so what's going to be the best bet for that? Next Pokemon I want to bring in is Crazy Man, the Hydreigon. He's rocking his Assault Vest with the Levitate ability. We have U-Turn, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, and Draco Meteor. 252 EVs in Special Attack, 104 in Special Defense, 152 in Speed with a Timid Nature. With the Speed and the Timid Nature, we are outspeeding Rillaboom and below. I didn't want to necessarily overinvest too much for the Rev of Room there, and then we're going to put a lot into speed and not have as much of our bulk that we do need there. And then we can't outspeed Tauros, Paldean Tauros and above at 100 base speed. So went with Rillaboom and below for that. It'll be really nice to be able to take some of these hits. The 104 EVs in Special Defense paired with the Assault Vest really help us take those special hits from Hisuian Zoroark just a little bit better. We still don't like Alolan Ninetales at the end of the day. Like, we really don't appreciate... the Moonblast still coming out from there, even with the Assault Vest, that still does have a chance to knock us out. But if it is just like a max HP variant, if he does bring it, we do live in uninvested Moonblast, surprisingly. So even with like something like Blizzard, yeah, Blizzard from an uninvested, if it's like the normal like max HP, max speed screen setter one, like just to get Veil up, Blizzard actually is a 3-hit KO on us with this bulk. So helps us take some of those special hits just a little bit better. U-Turn is, again, good for pivoting around alongside Iron Bundle and alongside Ogerpon. Flash Cannon really there to hit the Alolan Ninetales. Dual Stab really does a good amount of it to the rest of his team. We're taking hits from the Hisuian Zoroark as well. If we take a look at like a choice spec set, Shadow Ball not doing anything to us. I mean, its Dual Stabs are really, really well resisted there. Does it probably gets like Focus Blast, I would imagine. Let me do my research live so someone can roast me in the comment section later and be like, actually, it does get Focus Blast. So, and now if he runs the physically offensive set, you got me, right? You got me. Focus Blast, we live. Focus Blast, if he does manage to connect 2 of them, it is a 2-hit KO. And then Dark Pulse or Draco Meteor knock it out. Flash Cannon is a 2-shot on it as well. So we're looking pretty good there. Next Pokemon we are bringing. So we did a lot of talk about a Rain Sweeper. What's going on with the Rain Sweeper? Rain Sweeper did really well week 6. I don't know if he'll see it coming week 8. Like, you do one gimmick and then you call it a day. So we are bringing Fishman, the Hisuian Quillfish, fan favorite for the season, I believe. He is rocking his Eviolite with the Swift Swim ability. We are Terra Poison with Swords Dance, Poison Jab, Crunch, and Liquidation. We have 24 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 104 in defense, 76 in special defense, 52 in speed with an Adamant Nature. This, in my opinion, is a pretty well-crafted set, so let's talk about this. So if defensive Gligar shows up, you're probably running max HP, a lot in defense, maybe some speed, maybe some special defense. I don't know if he'll run an offensive set. Not to say you can't. I have a Double Dance Gligar sweep somewhere on my channel from the Ultra Sun and Moon days, I believe. So he could. He very well could. But if he is running a defensive Gligar set, we are 3-hit KO'd by uninvested Gligar Earthquake. which is fantastic. And that is with the 24 EVs in HP, the 104 in defense with our Eviolite. We do have max attack, adamant, just obviously get the most out of our attack stat. The 52 in speed, if we are outside of rain and snow, we are set to outpace Beartick. If it does show up, Beartick's sitting at 218, we end up sitting at 219 speed. Inside the rain, we're hitting 438, so we're outspeeding really everything there. I do want to check, actually, how much more, now that I think about it, how much more I would need to outpace like a booster energy Roaring Moon. So booster energy Roaring Moon hits 555. So I need to go 278 in the rain. Can I afford that? I'd have to run Jolly for that. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna hope with our Eviolite we end up living a hit. If he does run Scarf or Booster Energy Roaring Moon, I'm assuming like a Bandit set comes through again. I don't have the best switch-ins in the world to it. Best switch-ins in the world to it. So obviously, if Booster Energy Roaring Moon comes back around and we learn a lesson, we learn a very valuable lesson. But hopefully with Klefki and Reflect, hopefully with our defensive check that we're going to go over next, we are able to mitigate that if it does show up. But that's really the game plan. So this one is a lot different than the week 6 set that I brought. So I brought Swords Dance Agility, Poison Jab Liquidation. I think rain could really catch him off guard. First off, if he brings snow, if we can reset the snow somehow, I think that'll be beneficial to us. It'll boost our speed. It'll boost the water type moves if you want to. The combination of our 3 moves really do hit hard, and we don't, depending on how much chip we do, based on his team, we really don't need that much setup. Like, we don't need to go for the full double dance. We can go for a late game rain dance, very minimal priority on his side of the field. We just start going from there. So that's going to be the plan with Fishman. Last up, we are bringing Tummy Man, the Don fan. He's rocking his Assault Vest with the Sturdy ability, Rapid Spin, Ice Spinner, Knockoff, and High Horsepower. We have 16 EVs in HP, 252 in attack, 16 in defense, 224 in special defense with an Adamant nature. With this threat, so again, knowing Kyle and the creative sets that he enjoys bringing, knowing that we're in week 8, I don't know really what to plan for. I'm thinking something like, what would be a good check? Like, Don Fan stops his Belly Bolt from Volt Switching around, right? Belly Bolt gets access to Muddy Water. What if he brings like a very offensive Belly Bolt or something like that? So I calc this for like a max special attack Muddy Water from Belly Bolt. We're 3-hit KO'd by it. So if it's just a normal defensive Belly Bolt set, we're golden. Rapid Spin to remove hazards. We talked about how he does have a ton of hazard setters on his side of the field. We do have a Pokemon that can absorb those T-Spikes, but we are still very hazard prone, damage prone to hazards with our Ogerpon, as we've learned throughout the season. So I did want to bring Rapid Spin. Ice Spinner helps us to remove the grassy terrain if he does bring Rillaboom. Knockoff's great for removing any sort of items. It's good for crabbing like a Hisuian Zoroark on the Switch. It's good for removing items off me. It's good for just good damage in general. And then High Horsepower, if for whatever reason we can't get the terrain up, like if we are in like a 1v1 situation and it's either Ice Spinner to remove the terrain and then Earthquake, or we just leave the terrain up, we go for a High Horsepower. We go for the High Horsepower. It's a 5% damage difference and a 5% accuracy difference. So it was either that or like Stomping Tantrum, I think it was, and I'd much rather have that. If I miss a High Horsepower, yeah, that's it. That 5% chance, that's really what she wrote there. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think we got the 6 to bring it. We are looking, like I said, to maintain hopefully a 3-0 or better win this week. Ultimately, wherever the cookie crumbles, that is where it is going to be, and I think it has been a great season. So I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think of the team in the comment section down below. I'm going to cut to team preview, and I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, it is week 8 of the SPL. We got some GOAT versus GOAT action going on right now. We are playing Kyle A, coach of the Miami Don fans. If you guys missed the team builder, it's on you. You really should have checked it out, but you guys can see a quick silhouette of the team that I'm bringing there. We got Bundle, Klefki, Ogerpon, Hydreigon, Hisuian Quillfish, and Don Fan. I think that Kyle is going to be bringing a combination of Rillaboom, Colossal, Gligar, Hisuian Zoroark, and Roaring Moon. Maybe Revavroom, maybe Mew, maybe he does bring the snow, so we'll see what happens, and I'm looking forward to this. Leave a like on the video. If you made it through the team builder and you haven't left a like yet, I'm going to be under your bed. Just saying. Just saying. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Right now, can't riff anymore while we're doing the searching. The searching is what's killing me here. The searching is what's killing me. I got to turn it up because I'm going to have that Cassiopeia music bumping during this battle. So I got to have it in the headphones. There we go. I'm nervous. I've got the heater going to reduce my nervous chills. Let's see what we got. My man is bringing Belly Bolt. Okay. So we see Roaring Moon. We don't see Zorark. Kind of crazy to me. We do see Gligar. We see Mew. We see no Revavroom. And instead we see Belly Bolt. We see the Colossal. And we see the Rillaboom. Okay. No Snow and no Zorark makes Chase a happy boy. I feel much better about Reflect on Klefki. I also feel very good about leading Hydreigon. I feel really good, actually, about leading Ogerpon, if I'm being completely honest with you. I feel very good about leading Ogerpon. So he does have all of his Hazard Setter and one of his removers. I feel really good about leading Ogerpon. That's where my head is at. Right? Right? Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's see what he's got. I talked about it in the team builder. With this being like the week 8, I have no idea what Kyle's going to be bringing. I love the variety in the sets that he brings. And I want to say it like that because I don't want someone to be like, he's making fun of Kyle's sets. I love Kyle's sets. They are heat. They are some heat. Leads off with Ancient, which is going to be the Mew. Beautiful. I outspeed that. I outspeed that every day. And I'm just going to knock this thing off. I'm just going to go for it. Let's start removing these items right out the gate. Could be like a Culverberry, you know, could be something. Could be a hazards. Could definitely set up hazards. We will see though. Mew is so versatile, and if you can use it outside of like a bulky hazard setting thing, and if there's a bulky hazard setting thing, don't get me wrong, that's fine. Boom. That did a lot of damage. That is max HP Mew. Is that weakness policy? That is weakness policy. Interesting. Okay. Draining Kiss. Okay. Now, Power Whip does a lot to this thing. If Knockoff was doing that much, Power Whip should take it out. I'm going to go for a Power Whip here. The weakness policy Mew. Like I was saying, if you use this thing outside of a bulky, like, Cleric Hazard Setter, golden. Golden. Maybe he thought I was just going to U-turn. Like, U-turn into Hydreigon to take, like, a Psychic move? That would have been a fire. That would have been a fire play. I would have lost my mind. I would have retired right there. Kyle would have signed my retirement papers. Let's go for a Power Whip. Power Whip hits everything on his side of the field if he switches in Colossal. All right, we should be able to knock this out. Beautiful. The Bonk picking up the KO on Mew. Ogerpon KOs Mew with Power Whip. Beautiful. All right. Roaring Moon probably comes in here, right? Colossal comes in. Okay. So, the rock move, pretty on point here. I outspeed everything but his... I'm going to U-turn here. I outspeed everything but the Roaring Moon here. And the Colossal's going to... Okay, so Colossal is the Terra Captain of choice. Fire? Fairy? Fairy? Fire. Ooh, okay. Maybe he's going like Flash Fire? Maybe he is going Flash Fire. Curious here. We'll get some U-turn damage off. We'll get some U-turn damage off. Now, what do I switch into right now? Hydreigon is not looking too terrible. Colossal. Yeah, Hydreigon's not looking too bad here if I go into that. Let's go into Hydreigon. Hydreigon's not... Mew's down. We outspeed everything. Hydreigon's not really the most necessary because of the lack of... Because of the lack of Hisuian Zorak. But that Flamethrower did a lot. That did... That's offensive to some regard. That's offensive to some regard. I just drop a Draco on this thing, right? Let's go for Dark Pulse. Let's go for Dark Pulse first. Let's go for Dark Pulse into the Draco Meteor to see what we can do here. We do get a flinch. Draco Meteor should pick it up from this range. Draco's doing about 53 to 62. He withdraws. All right, so we're dropping a Draco on something heavy. Goes down to rule 34, which is the Belly Bolt. Oh, that 8. Does get the Electromorphosis off. That's pretty specially defensive. That is pretty specially defensive. I'm just going to U-turn here. I'm going to U-turn out. We've got our Donphan at the end of the day. Colossal's pretty weak. If we can get Klefki in for his spike, we'll be looking nice. Bring that thing down to about half. Any Rocky Helmet, anything like that. Don't see any Rocky Helmet. Okay. Let's go on to Donphan. Like I said, we are built to take an offensive Muddy Water. He could just go for a Toxic. Toxic's pretty safe. I'm pretty sure this thing gets Toxic. One of the few Pokemon that does get it. Slag off. Okay. Okay, that is fine. I will just go for a knockoff here. We don't see any leftovers. You know, Earthquake could be... I was about to say, Earthquake's pretty phoned in, so if we go out into the Gligar here... Goes out into Gorilla Grip. If I would have Ice Spinnered right here... Heat Rock. Oh, we're having a weather game. Is that it? Okay. There is no world where I live a move here, like a grass move here, right? There's no world where I live a grass move. Like Drum Beating, how much is... So Drum Beating's doing 94 to 1. What is Grassy Glide? I feel like I've got switches into a grass move. I'm going to go for an Ice Spinner here and get rid of this terrain. Could be a bad play. Could be a read. Goes for the Sunny Day. There it is. Okay. Big damage. Big damage. We'll get rid of that terrain as well, which is good. No more recovery for him. No more Heat Rock for him. Without the terrain, we are living max attack Drum Beatings and things of that nature. Do I go for a knockoff here? I'm going to go for another Ice Spinner. Because he's getting the sun up. I was about to say, he's getting the sun up ready for, like, Roaring Moon to come in. And we're doing a lot of damage to Roaring Moon here. We've got the Prankster Rain Dance. Let's see what he's got. Here's the Colonoscopy, actually. Okay. So Colossal's at half. I don't think he'd have enough speed to outpace me. Do I just go for the high horsepower here? I go for knockoff. Yep. I don't want him to get in Gligar. Oh, brings back in the Rillaboom. Okay, to reset the terrain. Okay, he is getting pretty worn down here. I have shown that I am not afraid to switch on this thing, so I think now he would go for something. I think now he would go for a grass move. He sees that I am very willing to stay in. So I am going to go out into Ogerpon here. Goes for the Wood Hammer. Quad resist. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I feel like a U-turn, U-turn would knock this thing out. I feel like is the play here. If he tries to go out into, like, Roaring Moon on, like, the fire move, you know? Like, we do have the sun up to hit a mean Ivy Cudgel right now. But I think we U-turn here. I think I'm assuming he has another Sunny Day setter, right? Yes. Okay, we're keeping up the momentum. Here comes Colonoscopy. All right, now... Hydreigon does look pretty nice here to just come in and click Draco Meteor, right? That's kind of where my head's at. Harsh Sunlight faded. Maybe he does go out into the Belly Bolt here. I don't have much in the means of switching into this thing. Let's just Draco. Let's drop a Draco. If the Belly Bolt wants to slack off in front of us again, so be it. He withdraws. A Spike would be great. We need to get Klefki in to punish these. Goes down to Rule 34, which is the Belly Bolt. All right. Unfortunately, Hydreigon is getting worn down pretty well. I will U-turn because I think he always has to hard switch. He can Volt switch, but what is that going to do? Let's just U-turn. He can slack off the damage, but he can't hit Donphan. Would he go for a Toxic here? What is Klefki taking from this? If I want to take this opportunity to get a Spike up. Belly Bolt. I'm gonna go on Klefki. This could hurt. This could hurt. This could be a very bad play, but I want to get a Spike up. Toxic. Beautiful. All right. Go for a Spike. Keep this thing nice and healthy. We've seen Slack Off. We've seen Toxic. Probably Volt Switch. A Gligar has not come in yet. You don't see the Volt Switch. Just hard switches. Okay. Out into Rupert. Which is the Gligar. Okay. So we get Spikes up. We're defensive. I mean, if this thing is, you know, any sort of a, I'm just gonna go. I think it's a good opportunity to go out into Iron Bundle here. I mean, what is this gonna do to us? Earthquake? What is this, Gligar? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this does to us, unless it is one of those offensive sets. You know, we are able to get a Spike up. We can keep our Klefki very healthy. We could have gone for a Reflect. We can still go for a Reflect if things get crazy, but he does not have hazards up yet. Goes for Taunt. Beautiful. Okay. Not much on your team wants to take his Hydro Pump. Rillaboom does. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. Ice Beam's free. Ice Beam's free. Let's go for Ice Beam. We know the Gligar has Taunt. Maybe has EV Light. All right. Bundle KOs. Gligar with Ice Beam. Okay. We outspeed everything. The sun is not up. The sun is not up for that. Gorilla Grip comes out. I feel like he U-turns here. Or gets the sun up, like on my Switch, right? How do I want to go about this? So I don't live... There's a small world where I live a grassy glide if he wants to go for it. I feel like a U-turn's here. I'm gonna go for an Ice Beam. There we go. All right. Bundle KOs Rillaboom with Ice Beam. All right. No Sun. We're faster than Roaring Moon. Provided he's not Scarf. We are not looking bad. We are not looking bad. In fact, we are looking pretty nice for Quillfish to finish up here, depending on the Roaring Moon set. We've got the spike up to start damaging things. Ooh, all right. Colossal will come in. Belly Bolt. Belly Bolt tried to Toxic and then Hard Switch. Belly Bolt still has some damage on it as well. Belly Bolt was pretty specially defensive, though. It was eating Draco from Hydreigon. Here comes Colonoscopy. Okay. He's hurt by the spikes. Steam Engine is not an immunity, right? Yeah, it is not an immunity. I'm going to Hydro Pump here. He withdraws. Okay. Goes on to Moaning Moon. Fine by me. Takes the spikes damage. Is the booster energy. Boost the defense. Missed the Hydro Pump. I am faster than you, though. To boost the defense? That's a new one. Like, I suppose you could Dragon Dance here, right? Like, if he's like a max HP, max special defense. Big damage. Bundle KOs. Roaring Moon with Ice Beam. All right. That may be game. Here comes the Belly Bolt. Let's do him 40 to 47. I really don't want to take that. Let's flip turn out. We're looking pretty nice between Colossal and Belly Bolt left. I want to keep our differential where we can. Let's go on to Donphan. If we take a Toxic, so be it. I think we're in a good spot for Donphan to maybe wrap things up. Parabolic Charge. I'd been staying in a lot. I see it. Take the Hydro Pump and recover that off. Big high horsepower here. From 58 to 69 to max HP, max defense. Has the Sucker Punch. Very nice. Donphan KOs. Belly Bolt with horsepower. Get a little bit of that terrain recovery back. And then we take out Colossal from here. Yeah, it's doing 48 to 57 to max HP, max defense. So even with the spike, even dropping the 4 times weakness, we connect the high horsepower here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a 6-0 victory for the Detroit Steel Wings. Donphan picking up the last one here. Donphan KOs Colossal with horsepower. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are now locked for playoffs with that match. Kyle, GG's. I love the Sunny Day Rillaboom. I talked about it in the team builder. The variety of the sets, I absolutely love it. I love the Sunny Day on Rillaboom to pop like the Photosynthesis on the Roaring Moon. I love it to nerf the Iron Bundle Water Stab as well. Absolutely love it. Guys, go check out Kyle's channel. Link will be in the description of this video. Go check out the rest of the SPL coaches. If we made playoffs, we are looking fantastic. If we didn't make playoffs, it's been a hell of a season, but I appreciate all the love on the channel. Really looking forward to all of the leagues coming up for DLC 2 after the holidays. Very excited to participate. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe. 50K by the end of next year. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.